the Dodgers won, but this was not a clean win.
No, it really wasn't.
I mean, honestly, if you're listening right now and you just saw the final score this morning, you're probably thinking, 4-2, Dodgers beat the Mets, another great day.
Right. It looks totally fine on paper.
Yeah, totally fine. But if you actually sat on your couch and watched all 9 innings of this thing, you know that the reality on the field was just agonizing.
It was incredibly high stress, which is, it's pretty unusual for a game where your starting pitcher was basically dominant.
Exactly. And from a pure box score perspective, sure, we banked the win. We beat New York 4-2. Roki Sasaki goes out there, throws 7 innings, allows just 1 run, and strikes out 9.
9 strikeouts, yeah.
And then you got Shohei Ohtani getting 2 hits, plus he drives in the go-ahead run with a sac fly in the 7th.
Yeah, the offense did exactly enough, eventually.
Barely enough. Because, as a team, the Dodgers racked up 11 hits. 11? But we went a completely dismal 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position.
1 for 13 is a staggering metric.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
Is what it is. So the central question we have to answer today in this deep dive into the source material is, well, is Roki Sasaki really back?
Well, I think back implies a permanent return to, a previous baseline. And I am definitely not ready to stamp that on him just yet.
But you have to admit he saved us tonight.
Oh, absolutely. The 1 for 13 metric you just mentioned is the crucial context for the whole night. When you put that many runners on base and just, continually fail to bring them home, you are playing a very dangerous game with run expectancy.
Seriously, we left runners stranded everywhere.
Right. And the Dodgers survived that inefficiency tonight, mostly because they were playing a Mets team that is, sitting at 43-61 right now?
They are struggling, yeah.
They are. But if you take that 1 for 13 approach into a playoff series against a premier rotation, you lose. Plain and simple.
Yeah, you get swept.
Exactly. So focusing on Sasaki's form is really the right angle for this analysis because his performance was the only thing shielding the lineup's pretty glaring flaws tonight.
And if you're out there listening, on your commute or at the gym or whatever, you might be asking yourself why we are putting so much stock into one random mid-July baseball game.
It's a fair question.
Right. Why are we doing a massive deep dive into a random 4-2 win against a bad Mets team? It's because this specific game is basically a giant flashing warning sign.
It really is a microcosm of their entire season.
Exactly. It reveals the exact blueprint for how the Dodgers can just completely suffocate teams in October. But it also exposes the exact vulnerabilities that will absolutely get them sent home early if they don't clean it up.
Which is why we have to start with the pitching.
Yes, before we tear our hair out over the offense, we have to talk about the Sasaki masterclass. Because, the offense doesn't even have a chance to win this game late if Sasaki doesn't hold the line.
Well, let's look at the foundation of what he actually accomplished out there. The core numbers are honestly exceptional.
They're beautiful.
He threw 94 pitches, and he threw 63 of those for strikes.
Which is just elite efficiency.
It is. He navigated 7 full innings, gave up just 3 hits, and only 1 earned run.
And that run was just a solo shot by Luis Robert Jr.
Right. A solo home run. And beyond that, he only walked 2 batters all night while striking out 9.
See, it's a gorgeous line. But for me, it's the way he got there that has me fully buying all the stock right now.
How so?
Look at the contrast between this start and his last start against the Yankees.
Okay, the Yankee start was very different.
It was completely different. Against New York, it was pure, unadulterated fireworks. He came out trying to basically beat the Yankees in a drag race.
He was relying heavily on elite velocity in that one.
Heavily. He hit 101.8 miles per hour in that game. He threw 21 pitches over 100 miles per hour.
Which is physically taxing.
Totally. But then tonight, against the Mets, he completely changed his identity. The fastball was sitting right around 98 to 99 miles per hour.
A conscious dial back.
Yeah, he wasn't constantly emptying the tank just to break that 100-mile-per-hour threshold. But here's the crazy part. Despite throwing slower, he generated a career-high 21 swings and misses tonight.
And we know where most of those came from.
15 of them. 15 came on the splitter. Hitting against Sasaki tonight was like trying to hit a ghost.
That's a highly descriptive way to put it.
It's true, though. He used the threat of the fastball to make them swing early, only for the splitter to just, vanish completely under their bats.
Let me stop you right there, though, before you go ahead and crown him the ace of the staff for the next decade.
Hey, I'm just looking at the results.
The results are good, but we need to dissect why that splitter was so effective tonight. we have to apply some heavy contextual caution here.
Okay, lay the caution on me.
First of all, we have to talk about the pitch tipping narrative that has been following him around for weeks now.
Oh, come on. You're really going to bring up the glove size.
I have to. It is a critical data point. Sasaki recently switched to a significantly larger glove.
Yeah, supposedly Mark Pryor told him to do it.
Exactly. Reportedly on the direct advice of Mark Pryor. Because the goal was to hide his grip. There was mounting evidence that hitters could read whether he was holding the fastball or the splitter before he even reached his release point.
Okay, but he makes the adjustment, and suddenly he gets 15 whiffs on the splitter.
Yes.
Which proves the adjustment worked. The Mets couldn't see the grip, so they couldn't cheat on the pitch.
Well, it suggests the adjustment helped, certainly, but you are confusing correlation with causation here.
Am I?
Yes. A larger glove hides the baseball, sure. But a piece of leather on a pitcher's left hand does not magically fix his release point, and it doesn't repair an inconsistent delivery. You still have to actually execute the pitch perfectly.
Right, you still have to throw it.
Furthermore, we cannot analyze this start without acknowledging the opponent in the other dugout. The Mets' offense is fundamentally broken right now.
They're definitely scuffling.
They went 4 for 30 on the night as a team. And yes, Juan Soto walked twice early, but then what happened?
He had to leave the game with left calf discomfort.
Which is an enormous blow to their lineup.
Oh, totally huge.
It means Sasaki didn't even have to face their most dangerous, most disciplined hitter for the bulk of the night.
That's fair.
When Soto left, the pressure on the entire lineup basically evaporated. So, was Sasaki's performance impressive? Yes, absolutely. But was this a masterclass against a lineup functioning at full capacity? No. It was a solid start against a team playing terribly.
I hear your caution, I really do.
Yeah.
But, you can only pitch to the guy standing in the box.
Sure.
You can't penalize him because the Mets are struggling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you're completely glossing over his pitch efficiency, which I think is the single most important development from this game.
Efficiency is important, I agree.
Let's do a little time travel for a second. Let's rewind all the way to April 12th. He threw exactly 94 pitches in that game, too.
I am well aware of the April data, yes. He walked 5 batters and was pulled after 4 innings.
Exactly. 94 pitches to get just 12 outs in April versus 94 pitches to get 21 outs tonight.
It's a stark contrast.
It's a completely different pitcher. That is a massive leap in strike throwing, count management, and just knowing how to put major league hitters away efficiently. He wasn't nibbling around the zone.
No, he was much more aggressive.
Right. He wasn't wasting pitches trying to paint the corners perfectly. He was attacking them.
I will concede that the mechanical efficiency was vastly improved tonight. But the mechanism for that improvement, the actual how and why he got 21 swings and misses, comes down to pitch tunneling and the reintroduction of his slider.
Yeah, explain the tunneling to the listeners, because from my couch, it just looked like the Mets batters were guessing all night long.
Well, for you listening, tunneling is essentially a biomechanical and visual concept. It means the 99-mile-per-hour fastball and the 90-mile-per-hour splitter look utterly identical coming out of Sasaki's hand.
They start in the exact same spot.
Yes. They travel down the exact same imaginary three-dimensional tunnel in the air for the first roughly 40 feet of their flight path. To the batter's eye, the trajectory is indistinguishable.
So the hitter's just totally frozen.
By the time the batter's brain processes the spin rate and realizes it's the splitter, physics has already taken over. The ball drops off the table, and the batter swings at empty air.
It's just devastating to watch. They sit back expecting the splitter, and then the fastball just blows their doors off.
Precisely. The vertical separation between a high 90s fastball and a dropping splitter is arguably the most lethal combination in baseball.
When it's working, yeah.
But only if the pitcher is commanding the strike zone. If he's throwing strikes early in the count, the hitter is placed in a constant state of defensive urgency.
They can't just take pitches.
Exactly. They have to commit to the swing earlier. That urgency is what makes the splitter vanish under their bats. But Sasaki added a third layer tonight.
A slider.
Right. By mixing in the slider, he gave the hitters a completely different horizontal look. The slider moved side to side, which completely prevented the Mets from just sitting on that vertical up and down tunnel of the fastball and the splitter.
And that efficiency, that total mastery of the strike zone, set up what I truly believe was the defining moment of the whole game.
You're talking about the 7th inning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Because the game had been tied 1-1 practically the whole night. The tension in the stadium was just unbelievable.
It was a very tight window.
Finally, in the top of the 7th, Ohtani hits a sac fly to left field, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. So now, Sasaki is sitting right around 90 pitches.
Right.
He is about to face the Mets order for the third time. And Dave Roberts makes a massive, massive decision.
A very uncharacteristic one for him, honestly.
He sends Sasaki back out there for the bottom of the 7th to protect a 1-run lead.
Which analytically is a massive gamble.
But I loved it. I was literally screaming at my television.
Yeah.
Finally, Dave is treating Sasaki like a true, bona fide ace.
It's an emotional lift for the player, sure.
It's huge. He's not treating him like some fragile prospect you have to bubble wrap and hide in the dugout the moment the pitch count hits 85.
Check.
He just gave him the ball and said, go win this inning.
Okay, from an emotional clubhouse standpoint, I understand why you, as a fan, liked it. But from a data-driven perspective,
Here come the spreadsheets.
the spreadsheets matter. Leaving a young starter in for the third time through the order in a one-run game is playing with fire. It is called the third time through the order penalty.
I know.
The data unequivocally tells us that hitters figure a pitcher out the third time they see him. They have timed his release point, they have seen the shape of his breaking pitches, and they have calibrated their swings to his velocity. Your margin for error shrinks to absolute zero.
But Roberts trusted his eyes over the spreadsheet. He saw what we were all seeing out there, that Sasaki still had his stuff. He wasn't laboring.
He wasn't, and Sasaki did reward that trust by retiring the side in order. It worked out perfectly.
That was awesome.
But we have to connect this to the bigger picture. The reason Roberts took that analytical risk wasn't just to build Sasaki's confidence.
You think it was about the bullpen?
It was a mathematical necessity regarding the bullpen. Look, this is a long road trip. The bullpen has been heavily taxed lately.
That's true. They've pitched a lot of innings.
By finishing 7 full innings, Sasaki allowed the Dodgers to use only 2 relief pitchers for the rest of the night.
Just Evan Phillips and Tanner Scott.
Exactly. Which is huge for the rest of the week. Managing bullpen workload in July is critical for a team with real October ambitions.
You need those guys fresh.
You do. Getting those extra 3 outs from your starter, especially high-leverage outs to preserve a 1-run lead, is incredibly valuable. But let's be very, very clear about something.
What's that?
Roberts had to send Sasaki back out there for the 7th inning because the Dodgers' offense had completely failed to provide any run support.
Oh, man, you're preaching to the choir now. Let's get into this offensive paradox,
Yeah.
because this is where my blood pressure really spiked.
It was a frustrating display of situational hitting.
We have to talk about this traffic without results. We put the leadoff man on base in 7 of the first 8 innings.
7 out of 8, yes.
7 out of 8. We even got a leadoff triple by Andy Pages in the 9th inning. If you have the leadoff man on base 8 times in a Major League Baseball game, you should be dropping a 10 spot on the opponent.
It is the absolute definition of a broken offensive process.
Really broken.
When you look at the raw box score, you see 11 hits. The casual observer thinks, okay, the offense was clicking, they were making lots of contact.
But they weren't stringing it together.
Because baseball is entirely a game of sequencing. A leadoff double, followed by 2 shallow flyouts, and a strikeout yields 0 runs. The individual struggles within this lineup tonight were glaring, and they compounded on each other inning after inning.
I mean, look at Tommy Edman. Edman has been having a fantastic season for us.
He has been very productive.
He came into the game hitting .341. He has been a total spark plug, but tonight he goes 0 for 5.
And he stranded a lot of runners.
He left 6 runners on base by himself. Every single time he came up, there was traffic, and every time he just rolled over a pitch or popped it up.
And right behind him in the lineup, you have Mookie Betts.
Don't even get me started.
Betts was batting 5th tonight, which is highly unusual for a player of his pedigree, and it really speaks to how much he is struggling to find his elite form right now.
It just looks lost at the plate.
He is currently batting .232 with a .713 OPS. When the middle of your order is consistently failing to advance runners, the pressure on the bottom of the lineup becomes just insurmountable.
It honestly felt like watching a Ferrari stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic in L.A. Like the engine is revving, you know the power is under the hood, but you are just sitting there idling, going absolutely nowhere.
That's a good analogy.
But look, I want to be fair here. I have to give some credit to the guy on the other side. Sean Mejia started for the Mets.
He pitched a very smart game.
He did. And honestly, he didn't look overpowering at all. He only struck out 3 guys all night.
But he managed the contact.
Yeah, he threw 84 pitches over 6 innings, gave up just that 1 run, and he just constantly bended without breaking.
Mejia deserves an immense amount of credit for that performance. He is a veteran left-hander who really understands the subtle art of pitching.
He wasn't just trying to blow it past guys.
Not at all. He didn't try to strike everyone out. He knew how to change eye levels. He disrupted their timing by altering the speed of his pitches. He actively managed the traffic on the base paths.
He kept escaping jams.
He allowed the singles and the walks, but he absolutely refused to allow the big extra base hit in the gaps that would have broken the game wide open.
But that's exactly my fear. If Sean Manaea, with a fastball in the low 90s and only 3 strikeouts, can dance around the raindrops for 6 innings against this lineup, what is going to happen in October?
It's a very valid concern.
Like, what happens when we are facing an elite playoff rotation throwing 98 with wipeout sliders? Are we just going to go 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position?
That is the exact question I want you, the listener, to really ponder right now. What is the difference between a lineup that lacks talent and a lineup with a completely broken process?
It's a big difference.
The Dodgers obviously have the talent. They have MVP candidates at the top of the order. But talent alone does not guarantee runs. If they carry this poor sequencing, this total inability to hit situationally into October, a stronger opponent will not just bend like Manaea did.
No, they won't.
A stronger opponent will punish them and end their season.
And it wasn't just the sequencing that killed our rallies either. It was the base running.
Oh, the base running was highly problematic.
We have to talk about the base running because this drove me absolutely insane, and I just know we are going to fight about this.
Yeah.
The base running debate. Was it aggressive or just downright reckless?
It was reckless.
Let's start in the 5th inning. Ohtani is at the plate. Manaea throws this sweeper that is practically in the opposite batter's box. It's way, way outside the zone.
It was a very tough pitch to hit.
And Ohtani, because he is just a freak of nature, reaches out and drives it into right field for a double. Incredible piece of hitting.
An elite display of bat control.
But then he decides to try and stretch it into a triple. Carson Bench fields it in right, hits Francisco Lindor on the relay, Lindor fires to third, and Ohtani is out by a mile.
It was an objectively terrible baseball decision.
Hold on, let me defend him first.
There is no mathematical defense for it.
Yes, there is. Ohtani's speed is a weapon.
Yeah.
You want your superstars putting maximum pressure on the defense. Carson Bench is a rookie outfielder. You force him to make a perfect play.
But he did make the perfect play.
You force Lindor to make a perfect relay. If you play scared, you don't win championships.
I love the aggression. I really do.
You are completely ignoring the game state, and this is why data matters so much more than emotion in these situations.
Okay, hit me with the data.
Let's look at the actual scenario. It's a 1-1 game in the 5th inning. There was nobody out. Ohtani is already standing in scoring position at second base.
Right.
A single scores him. A grumble to the right side moves him to third. And who is coming up to the plate next?
Page's Edman and Freeman. Andy Pages, Tommy Edman, and Freddie Freeman. The absolute heart of the order.
But if Benj bobbles the ball for even a fraction of a second, or if Lindor's throw is a foot off line, Ohtani is standing on third base with nobody out. And then a simple sacrifice fly score them.
You are relying on a major league defense to make an unforced error, rather than relying on your 3, 4, and 5 hitters to simply do their jobs.
I just think you have to test them.
The cost of failure in that specific moment is catastrophic. You trade a 100% guarantee of having a runner in scoring position with 0 outs for a very low percentage chance to be on third.
It wasn't that low of a percentage.
It was. And the penalty for failing is that you clear the bases, hand the opponent a free out, and completely kill the momentum of the entire inning. It is abhorrent risk management.
I just think you have to push the envelope sometimes.
Not with its physical condition, you don't. You are missing the broader franchise-altering context here.
You mean the knee?
Yes, Ohtani is currently playing through left knee inflammation. The fact that he can run aggressively is an encouraging sign that the knee is holding up, yes.
Which is great news.
It is, but his timetable to return to the pitching rotation is still highly uncertain. Given that medical reality, making highly aggressive, low-percentage gambles on the base paths is deeply questionable risk management for his body and for the team's long-term goals.
I mean,
why risk an awkward slide into third base for a marginal gain in run probability?
okay, fine. I will concede the point on the knee. That is a totally fair argument. But let's contrast Ohtani's out with what happened in the 6th inning, because this was just brutal luck.
The Freeman play.
Yeah. Freddie Freeman hits a double. He advances to third on a flyout. So now we have 1 out. Miguel Rojas hits a medium-depth fly ball to right field.
Right.
Freeman tags up at third and breaks for the plate. This is a standard fundamental baseball play. But Carson Bench, unleashes a 100-mile-per-hour throw directly to the catcher's mitt to gun Freeman down at the plate.
It was the fastest recorded throw by a Mets outfielder in the entire StatCast era.
Which is just my luck as a fan. Every time we try to manufacture a run fundamentally, the opponent turns into a Gold Glover.
And this is exactly why my analysis separates the decision-making process from the final outcome.
How so?
Well, Ohtani's decision to stretch the double was a poor baseball decision that rightly resulted in an out. Freeman's decision to tag up on a fly ball with 1 out and a tie game was a phenomenally good baseball decision.
So you liked the aggression there?
Yes. If you run that exact play in a simulator 1,000 times, the probability of Freeman scoring is incredibly high. You want him running there every single time.
So you don't blame Freddie for getting thrown out?
Not at all. That play was simply ruined by a completely exceptional outlier defensive play by Benj. You don't get mad at Freeman for executing good fundamentals. You just tip your cap to the rookie for making a perfect 100-mile-per-hour throw on a line.
I could accept that. Good process, bad result for Freddie. But then we fast forward to the 7th inning.
The squeeze play.
Yes. We have runners on first and second. Dalton Rushing tries to lay down a squeeze bunt, and he bunts it right back to the pitcher, Brooks Rowley.
It was hit too hard.
Way too hard. Rowley throws home, and Kyle Tucker is caught in a rundown and tagged out at the plate. Just another glaring example of the Dodgers actively running themselves out of innings when they should be blowing the game open.
Well, on the scoreboard, it certainly goes down as a failed squeeze play, but analytically, it was not a total disaster because Tucker actually executed the rundown perfectly.
Wait, how can getting thrown out of the plate be executed perfectly? He was out.
Because Tucker didn't just surrender, he stayed in the rundown long enough for the trailing runners Teoscar Hernandez and Rushing to advance to second and third base.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
By extending the play, he essentially turned a disastrous double play scenario into a successful sacrifice bunt, which, ironically enough, set the stage for the late-inning execution that actually won the game.
Yes. Let's finally talk about the Stars actually pushing some runs.
Yes, they did what they had to do.
Because despite all those blunders, despite the 1-for-13 nightmare, the engine of this offense eventually sputtered to life. In that exact same 7th inning, with runners now on second and third because of that rundown, Ohtani comes up to the plate.
A high-leverage spot.
Very high leverage. He hits a sacrifice fly to deep left field. It scores Teoscar Hernandez, and it makes it 2-1 Dodgers. Now, I know a lot of fans look at a sac fly and call it, doing the minimum, but in a tight 1-1 game where you have been stranding runners all night long, a productive out is exactly what a championship offense needs.
It is the textbook definition of situational hitting, and it's what was completely missing for the first 6 innings.
Exactly.
Ohtani recognized the game state. He didn't try to hit a 5-run home run with only 2 guys on base. He took what the left-handed pitcher gave him, he got under the ball, lifted it to the outfield, and secured the lead.
Just a professional at bat.
It wasn't flashy, but it was mathematically necessary. However, if we are discussing the true engine of the offense in this game, we really have to talk about Freddie Freeman.
Freddie was incredible tonight. 3 for 4, 2 runs scored, a stolen base. He was just quietly dominant.
He really was.
He didn't hit the massive home run, but he was in the middle of absolutely everything.
Precisely. He didn't have the flashy RBIs that lead the SportsCenter highlights, but he was the player consistently creating the underlying scoring opportunities all night.
He was setting the table.
He opened the 4th inning with a single and eventually scored on a Rojas sac fly. He doubled in the 6th. He got his 3rd hit in the 8th, and then he stole second base.
Which was a huge steal.
And that stolen base completely altered the geometry of the inning for the biggest defensive swing of the game.
Kyle Tucker, 2 outs in the 8th inning. The left-handed reliever, A.J. Minter, is on the mound.
A tough matchup.
Very tough. And Tucker absolutely crushes a 2-run homer. It was his 8th home run of the year, but it was his first since June 27th. You could literally see the physical relief on his face as he rounded the bases.
And we need to detail exactly why that home run was so critical. It wasn't just insurance runs.
No, it was everything.
It was absolutely necessary separation. Look at what transpired in the bottom of the 8th inning. Evan Phillips comes in from the bullpen to relieve Sasaki. And what happens?
He gives up a nuke.
Phillips immediately gives up a solo home run to Francisco Alvarez,
making it a 4-2 game. My heart completely stopped when that ball left the bat.
Right. But think about the math here. If Tucker hadn't hit that 2-run home run in the top half of the inning, Alvarez's home run would have tied the game at 2-2.
Oh man, don't even say that.
The win probability data from the source material explicitly notes that Tucker's home run created an 18.2% win probability swing.
Okay, translate that for the listeners who don't live in the spreadsheets.
Yeah.
What does an 18.2% swing actually mean in the context of the game?
In simple terms, Kyle Tucker's home run single-handedly took a game that was essentially a coin toss and mathematically slammed the door on the Mets.
It gave us breathing room.
Yes, it changed the entire calculus of the ninth inning for Tanner Scott, who was then able to come in with a 2-run cushion and pitch freely.
And Scott was absolutely nails. 1 inning, no hits, no walks, 1 strikeout, exactly how you draw it up.
He was very efficient.
He picked up his 16th save cleanly. But let's zoom out here for a second. We have to look at the macro picture. We are sitting at 66-38 on the season.
Very strong record.
We have an 11-game lead in the division. So this game isn't just about surviving a stressful July night in Queens. This is a live audition for the postseason. We have to talk about the October rotation question.
It is, without a doubt, the most important question facing the franchise's front office right now.
Look at the landscape of this pitching staff. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been incredibly solid. He's 10-6 with a 2.78 ERA. We know exactly what he brings.
He is a known, reliable commodity.
Then Ohtani's pitching stats are incredible, 8.2, a 1.79 ERA. But as we discussed earlier, that left knee inflammation makes his availability to actually pitch in October a huge question mark.
We cannot rely on him being ready for the mound.
Right. So where does Sasaki fit into this puzzle? Honestly, based on these last 2 starts against the Yankees and the Mets, I am ready to crown him the number 3 starter.
You are jumping the gun.
Am I? The velocity was there in New York. The command was there tonight in Queens. He looks exactly like the elite arm we traded for.
This is where I demand continuity and sample size. As an analyst, I cannot and will not ignore the extreme variance we have seen from Sasaki this year.
You're going to bring up the San Diego game, aren't you? I knew you were going to bring up the San Diego game.
I have to. It is part of the data set. In June, he throws 6 scoreless innings against the Angels. Brilliant performance.
He was untouchable.
Then in early July, he goes out and gives up 6 earned runs in 3 innings against the Padres. That is the very definition of a high-variance profile.
Sure, but he bounced back.
2 good starts, one built on overwhelming velocity against New York, and one built on the splitter and tunneling against the Mets are deeply encouraging. I'm not denying that. But they do not guarantee the results of his next 10 starts.
I just think he's turning a corner.
You cannot simply hand a 24-year-old pitcher a guaranteed playoff rotation spot based on 2 weeks of good data when the prior 2 months were a total roller coaster.
But look at the adaptation. To go from blowing 101 miles per hour past the Yankees to completely carving up the Mets with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball and a devastating splitter, doesn't that show a level of maturity and baseball IQ that translates perfectly to October?
It shows potential.
He proved he can win without his best fastball.
It shows immense potential, but potential has to become a track record. To solidify his October role, Sasaki needs to string together 3 or 4 more starts exactly like this one.
And meaning what exactly?
6+ innings, highly controlled pitch counts, limiting the walks, and maintaining his mechanical composure when runners inevitably reach base. If he does that consistently through August, then the front office conversation shifts from improving prospect to legitimate October weapon.
All right, that brings us to the final view of this game and the season as a whole. What is the ultimate takeaway from this 4-2 win in Queens?
It's a complicated picture.
It really is. I look at the box score, I look at the underlying stats, and I have to say this. The Dodgers showed both their strength and their vulnerability. They survived their mistakes, but stronger opponents may punish them. Sasaki's start was not proof of a complete comeback, but it was another meaningful sign that he may be becoming the pitcher the Dodgers hoped for.
I agree completely with that assessment. It was a victory that requires a lot of internal review from the coaching staff.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive into the source material.
I'll be honest.
We live in a baseball era that is absolutely obsessed with the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Pitching development is entirely focused on maximum physical effort. But Sasaki's evolution in this specific game proves that a pitcher's greatest weapon isn't just velocity alone.
Right, it's how you use it.
It is the threat of velocity paired with late deceptive movement, like we saw with his splitter. So the question to mull over is this. Can a young pitcher permanently rewire his entire approach from merely overpowering hitters to actively outsmarting them right before a high-pressure postseason run?
It's the multi-million-dollar question. And if Roki Sasaki figures it out, the rest of the league is in serious trouble.